Now we'll turn our attention to the state of New York, and where New York City schools are delaying reopening with a new deal to prevent a union strike. In Uniondale, we have Eagle News correspondent Joy Ann Andres with the details.
Hi, Philip. In today's briefing with Mayor Bill de Blasio, he said a potential union strike in New York City was prevented. This would have been considered the first strike led by teachers in 45 years. The mutual decision was made earlier today between the city and the United Federation of Teachers in a new school reopening deal. Instead of opening on September 10th, schools will now be opening on September 21st. Staff will return to prepare on Tuesday, September 8th. Remote learning will begin on Wednesday, September 16th with a 3-day transitional period. And on Monday, September 21st, blended learning will begin. With more than 1.1 million students and at 1,700 school buildings, New York City is the nation's largest public school district. Out of the 10 largest districts in America, it is the only one that is beginning the academic year with a blended approach. Mayor de Blasio said, "One of the things we've affirmed in these discussions is nothing replaces in-person learning. It's a very complex moment in history, to say the least. We have a common deep concern for this city. We also believe profoundly in the New York City public schools and the meaning of public education." Schools Chancellor Richard Carranza said, "So many things about this year will be new, but the fundamentals remain the same. The majority of our students plan to return to buildings. Students will learn best in person with a caring teacher as often as possible, and we will lead with health and safety every step of the way." In order to support the children during this new approach, more than 324,000 iPads have been distributed to students across the city. As for safety, more than 1,300 school buildings have already been inspected with 247 accepted outdoor learning applications. Electrostatic cleaning, along with proper social distancing and mask mandates, will be applied. There are now over 200 testing locations in the city, many near public schools. Mobile testing vans and tents will be available every month in every school. Once in-person begins, medical monitoring will take place every month at each school and random COVID testing of both adults and students. The UFT president, Michael Mulgrew, endorsed this agreement at the briefing and proudly said that New York City's public school system has the most aggressive policies and greatest safeguards of any school system in the United States of America. The current citywide infection rate is 1.3%. With health and safety leading the reopening plans, the city will not open if the rate exceeds 3%. In Uniondale, New York, Joy Ann Andres, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Philip.
Thanks, Joy Ann. Now, I'm just curious, what is your experience with online learning?
So I was taking classes during the peak of the pandemic, and it was pretty tough being glued to a screen all day. I've started new classes for the fall semester, and I feel more confident now that we've acclimated to this new normal with technology and a pandemic. And although we're faced with a lot of uncertainty and emotions literally every day, it's kind of nice learning and figuring things out together.
So do you have any tips for those that are about to start the school year again? I know across the country many students are going to be virtual. What would you say are the top 1 or 2 things that help you be successful with your online learning experience?
Definitely creating a designated study space. If you have a desk, I've been using curtains, doing makeshift walls in my room, just so it feels like, a cubicle at the library. That's one of the habits that I picked up this semester. And another one is definitely fixing your sleep schedule. The break between the semesters was kind of lengthy, and my sleep schedule was pretty messed up. So I took the advantage of taking a week or 2 before school started to fix that before it was another struggle.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good point, too, because I know, at least from when I was in school, that was the one important thing that I learned was sleep is so important, not just for your studies, right, but for your overall health as we're going through the pandemic. We need to make sure that we take care of ourselves. So thank you so much for that report and the follow-up, Joanne. We'll see you at the end of our broadcast tonight.
Thanks, Philip.